Mm.
I hang on, hang on today because he decided to pee all over. You said I'm breaking up. I'm good. Let's go to my front porch. Huh? Yeah, I'm fine. I'm just worried about my dog. I think he's having kidney failure because he can't hold his urine. No, so I'm probably gonna have to take him to the vet. Are you driving? Oh, don't look at me. Look at the road. Don't. Well, it's just something happened a long time ago and it haunts me. But it was texting. Well, I'll wait till you park. Well, I'll go ahead and start. Don't pay attention where you're going. I'll start on TikTok a while back. Me and this guy, actually, it was 8 of us starting off. We were doing a thing kind of like this guy. I forgot his name, but he wore a mask, kind of like uh, what was that show? Vendetta, something Vendetta. Anyway, what we did, we tried to pull proof out of people out of hypocrisy, whether it's military, religion, so on and so forth, relationships. And actually, I dug myself a hole because I started this thing on there that TikTok has. I don't know if they have it still, but it's called a live. And I was doing probably 2 to 3 lives a day. And that's how that situation got started. We would go and watch certain videos of people, like, especially the only way that I can say it is without, I'm not judging or nothing like that, but Christians who claim to be Christian and are not. And we had a way of pulling certain things out by doing things to sacrifice our own well being. Um, like, for instance, like going to church and everybody's all holy rollers, and they've been like that for years. Christ is in their heart. You shouldn't judge people. You know how it goes. They live by according to the scriptures. A guy comes in off the street. No one knows who he is. He sits down, and I ask him, "How you doing? Where you from? You visiting?" Yeah, kind of shy. And I'm like, "Where you from?" And he goes, "I really don't have a place. I haven't had a place in 20 years." And I'm like, "Were you homeless?" Or so I said, "We could probably throw something up to help you out." Uh, I'm kind of afraid to say, and I'm like, "This is the house of God. I'm pretty sure that you're going to be well accepted, no matter what you've done, no matter where you live, no matter where you don't live, et cetera, et cetera." We was talking. I was by the sound booth, and he was like, "I just got paroled yesterday." Really? Okay. Where at? Polunsky unit, Livingston, Texas. And I'm like, okay. I said, it's not going to be none of my business what you did, but I'm pretty sure that the reason that you're here is looking for, we just had a conversation about certain things. And before you know it, Brother David, because he's Baptist, we got a visitor in the house. What's your name? Says his first name. He says, you got a full name? He just says his first name again. And he's like, I'm just going to go ahead and say it because I'm going to get interrogated. And everybody starts laughing, the little harmony or the fellowship and all that and all that. And all of a sudden he goes, I'm a parolee from the Polunsky unit, not far from here. You can tell by the energy being sucked out of the church that these people went from Christianity to judging right off the block, not giving this guy a chance. So after the song, because in Baptist belief, you're going to sing and choir for 30 minutes, then you're going to sit down and listen to a preacher for 30 minutes. Well, in between the intermission, before Brother David got up there, everybody started going to the right side of the church, moving away from this guy. And I'm thinking to myself, and this is already a situation that I knew that I would pick out of people for years. I'm like, they're judging this guy. They're not giving him a chance to talk about what he did, how it happened, when it happened, where it happened, so on and so forth. But there was probably maybe 10 people on the left side of the pews. Everybody else, especially with the big swanky freaking names, especially here in Livingston, like the Overstreets and the Pollocks and so on and so Pedigos, they all go to the right side of the church. And then after my job was complete at the sound booth, I sat down by the guy. And everybody's looking at me like, oh, he likes criminals, you know? And that's where a little bit of the downfall started coming between me and that church. And I had a talk with Brother David and the deacon, which is my brother-in-law. And I told him, I said, see, this is why you don't like my attitude sometimes when I try to expose people for who they're really not. And I said, y'all have no right to make this guy feel uncomfortable by coming into the house of God and judging him after he said what he was out on. I said, if you go back and backtrack everything that you preached for 30 minutes for years, and I told Randy, my brother-in-law, I said, and you backtrack all the things you told to me in Sunday school, think about what you've done. So that's the situation what I used to do on the internet, which got me in a big hole because when I was doing lives, women were flocking on me like white on rice. I ran into what you call a spur posse. Spur po- Spur posses are like little gang affiliate organizations on the internet, whether on TikTok, any platform that you go for what they call where it's open discussions. I forgot what they call those rooms, but it started off with three girls. Basically, that's what they were, wanting to fly down to Texas to visit me. And I said, why do you want to fly away from Massachusetts, North Dakota, California, when you don't even know who I am? Well, I've been watching your videos, I've been doing this, and I've been watching your lives, but I never typed anything in to say hi and all this stuff. And it turned into where they got really obsessive. And before I know it, I become a con artist with 11 other women. You know what? I will show you documentation of a conversation I had with Gene Bush. My attorney said I can file a civil suit for defamation because I got proof. But I didn't pursue it because like I said, I do not like confrontation. The only thing that I did was got rid of social media altogether. The only thing that I got left is YouTube, and you probably won't like it. Deals with snakes. Well, the ones that I sent you. Oh, with the snakes. Oh, yeah, yeah. And after the proof that I got too. But for some reason, being a guy, I wouldn't believe, and that was one of the motivations of me. Where I always say, I'm not going to fight it because I'm not going to win it. No offense, especially when you get around a bunch of women and they gang up on you. Nothing that you say, nothing that you prove is going to matter. It's going to be fried green tomatoes, that type of thing, and the guy's going to be left out. But the military thing, uh, me and me and the other guy should have known because we do know Shipley, and he's a hawk. But he got that. But then after that, it laid a whole foundation of the things that really were true in my life, and that I'm still going through, be tainted. But do I care? I really don't care, because as long as my son loves me, knows who I am, knows what I went through, seen me go what I went through, that's all that matters. It was like it's not something that would occur to me. Oh, guess what? I used to have, I just it didn't. It's not because. Oh, that's true. I agree with that. I agree. But it's just something that didn't occur to me to go, I'm gonna start talking about this. Eventually, I'd have probably came into it if some familiarity up with something like that happened. There's a ton of stuff yet that I haven't even told you that's not even bad or anything that I don't know yet until we conversate more. And the toughest thing, I admit, the toughest thing is having to swallow a bitter pill of something that's really happened in your life, and you're tainted for it because people get pissed off at you because you don't give in to certain demands. I even had one of these females, supposedly, which I was supported by a couple of women on this. They said I need to call the police. She actually came down here. Luckily, it was in Houston. Came down to Houston, not even knowing where I lived, no personal information. Ended up coming to Houston. So she gets on there and says I stood her up. I try to con her out of money and all that. And I'm just sitting back and going, you know what? It makes me want to say more things to feed into it. It's like a cutter. That's how I am. If I'm going to be looked down upon and persecuted, I'm going to just jump on the bandwagon with you and go, okay. Matter of fact, I served 20 years in a federal maximum security prison too. That's what I do, because my whole life it was like spinning my wheels in mud trying to explain things to people, not being believed about certain things. And let me tell you something else why I got you face to face that I haven't told you, that I didn't have the motivation to tell you right off the bat. I was sexually assaulted at 12 years of age by a 44-year-old woman my mom worked with. Let me get that out of the way. So somehow you don't find out about that. My parents went to their grave not knowing about it because they would have gotten the death penalty. And I tell you her name. Her name is Paula from Shepherd, Texas, about 38 minutes from here. And every once in a while, I'll be in Walmart and I'll sit there and stare at her, and I can see the guilt radiating off her face with her husband or boyfriend now with 4 children. You know, taking something away from me and me going, you remember I told you I had a little bit of mental difficulties? That was one of them. Thinking I'm supposed to be in love with this woman. How do you love a grown woman? Um, she did this to me. Does that mean I'm supposed to love her now? And when she ended up leaving our house, which my mom was graceful enough to let her stay for 2 weeks because Shepherd got flooded out, she left a pair of shoes and a small bag with makeup, and I started crying because I thought I missed her because she had sex with me, even though that you know what I mean. Told you what. Well, that's like I said, it's not something I just go think up and bring it up and go, hey, this look what I did. I mean, I understand where you're coming from, and I agree. Facebook. The reason I got off of Facebook, the reason I got off the reason I got off of Facebook was the fact that, and this was the only problem, um, religion, politics, and people hit me up on this thing called Messenger 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning because I was friends with such and so other friends, And it got to the point to where, see, this is the thing, and it kind of pisses me off. When women approach me and I deny, I've been telling you my true character. I do not care what you have as far as physique and all that kind of shit. When I back away from that kind of thing, it seems like it's going to magnetize to me like I'm the one initiating everything. So that makes me think there's been a ton of cases in this country and around the world. There's innocent guys locked up in prison for false accusations of sexual assault. I can't help but to believe that now because of the way that I've been persecuted with those accounts. And that's happened twice in my life. One in real life and one on the internet. And I can't have anybody here but my son to back up who I am, my personality, my characteristics, what I've been through, what I haven't been through. One of the two most important people in my life that can vouch for anything in my life is 8 minutes down the road in a cemetery. Everybody else always has somebody to go to and talk to. Everybody has somebody that has support. They're supported. Validation on certain things. But with my son, it's kind of tough because if you remember the conversation I had, and we're both in agreement with that about being around children starting off, no matter the age, in my opinion, because that 19-year-old boy, he has feelings too. And I take in consideration that he didn't only hurt because of the fact that he got hurt by them, that they hurt his father. And I'm going to show you a little something when I go back in my house to prove a little point to you, because I don't disagree with you questioning me on that really happened. I'm going to show you something. I'm going to show you. And I don't do this. Huh? No, I'm not mad at you. See, that's another thing. Especially if Tyler was sitting right here next to him, a very passionate person. I'm a very passionate person. I get kind of loud. And throughout my life, there's been people like, why are you mad? And I start laughing, which I don't want to laugh right now. I start laughing, and I'm like, I'm not mad. And then as they get to know me, it's like, oh, typical Italian, loud, and they start doing this stuff. I don't get mad. I get passionate. I get deterred and frustrated sometimes. And it kind of matches my energy like I'm doing now, but I'm not mad at you. Matter of fact, I like the way you chewing your gum. You know, if I was upset, I wouldn't have the urge to be humorous. So that's the story there. I mean, take it or leave it. I'm not going to sound cold-hearted when I say this because it's not in my heart to do that. But I got to the point years ago that it is what it is, especially when I'm fighting against something that's the truth, which I don't do no more because I don't like to argue. I don't like confrontation. I run. And I constantly have people that actually work with me, that's under me, go, man, when are you going to start taking up for yourself? I go, I am taking up for myself. I'm not doing what other people think I should do. I'm doing what makes me feel at peace. And I'm serious, feel very obligated, very, very, just feel special because I don't prove nothing to anybody. You remember the temporary orders I told you about? I'm going to have to show you this probably in person. But it has my name, but in short, petitioner, which is me, appeared in person through an attorney of record, Gene Bush. He'll give you information with my release. Announced ready. Responded. Michelle such and such appeared in person and announced ready. The court, after examining the record and hearing the evidence of an argument of counsel that found necessary prerequisites of the law had been legally satisfied with the court, the child, it says, my child. This is the divorce decree right here from 2000. This is the temporary order I filed. As you can see, my name is on the top. Hers is on the bottom. Hang on. There's a lot of stuff that come unstapled, and I don't know where's what's what. And I don't know if you got enough light, because all I have is like a ceiling fan light in the kitchen. Peter, this is I'll have to like let you read this word for word on here, because it's kind of hard to. But these are two separate things, and you automatically know you get a divorce decree. This right here was the temporary order that I filed to get my son back, and it states it right there. Put it on light. And my son will tell you that through a text message, at least, if you need validation with that. It's hard. I know it's hard, especially when you got a gang of people. Now, I'm not excluding myself from the fact that I told you what me and this other guy did, and I'm not going to rat him out, because that's not how I am. We had a little deal that we were doing. I got caught on to with the military situation. He walked away from it. But these women saying that I con them out of money. First of all, I make my own money. Second of all, when I did have cancer, I worked most of the time, even though it gets my oncologist orders out of Woodlands, Texas. That second whole thing, which is 95% of it, is nothing but a retaliation for, I think it was 10 or 11 girls or something like that, from different states. I think 2 was from California. Flew me up to California. I wonder if it could have been my ex from a long time ago. She was heavy set. Kind of, I don't know how you describe the hair. Like a lot of hair. It was kind of thick. She was a nerd. Now, you're not going to believe me when I say this, but I'm sort of colorblind. But it was like a brown. Kind of long. She had freckles. Hell, I know her name. Her name's Jill. Real name Jillian. Yep. So huh? Yeah, from a while ago. Yeah. And it didn't work out because it was in the same genre, if you will. Because here's the thing, like I said, I'm not judging. I don't believe in probably 98% of the stuff in Californians. I don't. One thing that she just belittled me about constantly. Why you got to judge these guys? It's all entertainment. I don't like going to drag shows. Okay. I don't want to go see a bunch of men dressed up like women doing something that they claim that's in their DNA, which is not. Acting like women, and me catching a case for it because I want to be straight and do straight things. And no, I don't want to end up getting with you and your friend from San Diego. You know how it goes. 2 at a time. Most guys like that kind of thing. But, it is what it is. I mean, if someone's not going to accept me because I don't live the new millennial type of lifestyle, I'll stay by myself. Because, like I said, I don't want to be alone. But if it takes, if it takes me sticking to what I believe in, what I feel in my heart, I'll stay alone. Because, again, I'm not going to go back to my late 20s, battle people, try to explain stuff to people, especially when you're double teamed or triple teamed or quadruple teamed, and especially when it's the same sex. I just leave it alone. It's like my dad said it best. You can't squeeze blood from a turnip. Why sit there and keep trying to squeeze something that's not going to produce? Well, that's fine. You can ask me any. We're having this conversation. You ask anything, I'll give you answers, or I'll give you access to anything you want to see or know. The internet craze thing. Yeah, it was a video that went across TikTok. It was a trend. No, TikTok's full of what you call trends. People think up something, do trends, and it was I forgot the word I used, but it was a bunch of guys. It would tickle me to death to see these guys be like, I'm not going to do it because I don't want to sound crazy, but they try to be like a girl, oh yeah, or something like that. And it was a trend over TikTok because on my lives, I did that word in general from you, but I'm talking about videos. And if you're trying, if it's something about me liking, if they said it or something, no, it has nothing to do with that. No, it had nothing to do with that. You know, I'm a pure person. I am. Whoever, huh? I'm a pure person. What, you making fun of the word I say? I'm a, I'm a pure person. I've learned years ago when I was younger, I cared about everything everybody thought about me. I always cried and wasted countless numbers of days and nights crying, why did they do this to me? I want them back. Trying my hardest to try to convince them to come back to me. And the harder that I tried, the more they pushed me away, which was a consistency. And with family. There's something else I haven't told you about that, I couldn't have possibly just thought it up during all the conversations that we had. But I was ultimately rejected by a sister in this family. Someone I haven't had anything. Huh? The family I got adopted into on my, if you want to say, my aunt's side, which that'll always be my mom. Um, I haven't talked to her since 2009, after my dad died. Um, this old door right here that goes into this room was wide open. Here's the kitchen. I was standing right here watching them zip my dad up in a body bag. My sister was standing over here. Teresa was standing right here. Teresa had her arm around me. That's the nurse who came once a week on Thursday at 7:30 sharp to check on my dad, and then eventually, ultimately, start checking on me more. Well, out of nowhere, my sister goes, I don't know why she called me this. She called me Bo. Hey, Bo, is everything in order with Dad's effects? And I'm like, will and stuff? She's like, well, I know that he has Globe Life insurance. How long does that usually to cut a check? And I turn to my right and I'm being pulled the opposite way out that front door onto the porch. And Teresa's constantly telling me, don't, Eric, please don't do it. I am not going to lie to you. I felt like breaking her neck. With my dad's chin just barely sticking out of the body bag and her bringing up his money on life insurance. After a lifetime of me being adopted, being not accepted in the family, being left at places, and her lying to my mom about why I didn't come up to the front of the store. And then my mom was so smart, like Walmart. She would call up to Walmart to one of the CSMs I used to go by and go, was there Eric up there searching for his sister being announced? No. She would leave me at the store on purpose and then lie to my mom about that I was being stubborn and bullheaded and it wouldn't show up. Astro World. I remember one day at before Astro World, Friday night, being that small kid, you can't sleep. You're so excited. I'm going to Astro World. I'm gonna have a good time. Morning gets here. I'm scrambling to get my stuff, get my sack lunch ready because we couldn't afford to buy stuff over there at Astro World. And they come pulling up in their Dodge Ram, all happy and giddy and stuff. And we all start going out on the porch. And as soon as my dad put a cooler full of drinks in the back of the truck, I heard my brother-in-law, Eric going? And my dad's like, huh? Eric going? Yes, he's going. And then I go back to the porch and sit down on the chair, and they're talking about something. I could see my mom getting agitated. Come to find out, they changed their mind and didn't want to go to Astroworld. And later come to find out it was because I wanted to go. She didn't want me to go with them. She didn't want me to ride in her truck. She didn't want me to go over there and spend a night with my cousin. When I would go out and play, I had to stay outside. I had to drink from a hot water hose instead of going to get a big pitcher of iced tea like Brian, my cousin. I've been dirty. I've been done dirty so many times, and there's an explanation why. I don't care. Yeah, I will fight in the right circumstances, long as it's something worth fighting and winning. Definitely, but not if I'm going to be persecuted. There's no way in this day and era. Let me say this: the most percentages of people are going to sit there and compromise anything with somebody. I'm almost 49 years old. I'm not an old man, but I've been experienced in a lot of relationships, and it's been the same thing most of the time. I've been cheated on, lied to, deceptive behavior, and everything turned off on me by being narcissistic, gaslighting, and everything else that drove me to the point to where I believe I told you. I can't remember. I tried suicide twice because I felt like that's the only that I'm as good as dead. That was what was going through my head. I'm as good as dead. No one wants me here. My parents love me. They gave everything they had to get me, but they're going to die someday. What am I going to do when they pass away and I'm here? What am I going to do? Who's going to love me for who I really am? Who's going to want me in their family? Because I can tell you right now, Christmas, Thanksgiving, Tyler does his own thing sometimes. And the thing about it is he don't spend as much time as the holidays with his mom and Tim, her boyfriend, but he has his own life. He has a roommate he's staying with, and they do things. But for the most part, like on Christmas, we'll get together and have a Christmas dinner or something. He has to go back. I go to sleep, and I sleep 1 minute past at least midnight to just say it's over with. Thanksgivings, I will lay down on the living room floor out of just pure sheer depression and go to sleep. Hurry up, day, go by. Hurry up, Thanksgiving, get out of here. It's been like that in so many holidays. And this dog in here is one other reason why I'm so attached to this dog, because this dog has accepted me and been so receptive rather than a lot of people in my life. And I'm not going to, if I feel the need that I don't have to or prove anything, I'm not doing it. People can do whatever they want to do. They can bash me as long as it's not physically harming me or my son, number one. I really don't care. But I care in this instance because I wouldn't have video chatted with you. No, because I got a little upset when you. Oh, did that really happen with you, Tyler's mom and you? That's a really hard scar that I live with every day of my life, because no matter what anybody thinks or how they feel about it, I lost so much in between with my son. I feel thankful that I'm getting to spend the adult years with him now, but I wonder what it's like to pull up at the school and watch him walk out to my truck or my car and get in and go, "How's your day at school? Let me help you with your homework. Let's go grab something to eat." Well, I'm sorry for that. It was out of my control and went out of deceit. I don't try to hide anything. When I meet somebody, you're going to know everything about me. There's no need for me. No, I disagree. I didn't hide it. I didn't talk about it. There's a huge difference, and people can't get that through their head. I didn't do nothing out of deceit. It was eventually going to be brought up, and everything from a month or two from now will be brought up slowly. I mean, I can't do it all at once. There's a big difference. I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna do the best I can to keep this from her. I'm keep this from her, or keep my situation with her, my divorce from her. She'll never know about that. I chose to tell you about these things. I just hadn't got. There's probably a trillion other things that I'll eventually get to tell you. That's not bad. That's I don't care in a good way. I mean, I don't care because it's actually good that you found it because now I can talk about it. Instead of huh? I could have done it before. You're right. My point is, I'm not deceptive. I'm not even close to being deceptive. No matter what anybody prints about me, no matter what anybody says about me, and it's not like been that all my life. I had some cool people in my life. Unfortunately, half of them are dead. I mean, I'm just being as straightforward with you as I can right now. I mean, there's nothing that I have any deceit over on trying to keep from you. You want to see anything? You want to ask me anything? You want to be in person with me to check something out? I'm down for it. I got nothing to hide. I mean, I can even give you documentation when I was transferred to a place called Van Buren, Michigan, from Italy, where my mother pawned everything that she had to get on a Greyhound bus to come up there for 2 weeks to get me through an adoption process through the courts. I got all that documentation too. It's old. Yeah, my mom kept it because she was proud of it. I even have baby shoes that she put on me. I had a little bracelet where the name was that was blank. It said baby boy on it. I got that on this back porch right here. And that's been the most special thing to me to be. You see, when I grew up when I was younger, I always had this theme about myself. I would feel sorry for myself. I'm like, I was born a reject. But since I've grown into an adult, I'm not a reject. I was probably, besides my son's birth, that was probably the best thing that's ever happened to me for them to adopt me out of a situation that I've kind of told you about already. Prostitution, prison sentences, cocaine, black tar, heroin, weed. Donna, my half sister, let me tell you this now I can tell you things because it's being brought up. Donna, she lived with us until I was probably about 10 or 11 years old. My egg donor kicked all of the kids off on the grandpa, grandmas, aunts, uncles. So my mom and dad who adopted me, my real mom and dad, that's how I put it, Donna, my half sister, lived with us. She was one of the kids dumped off on all the aunts and uncles and stuff. She would used to have this needle, and I would watch her stick it in her arm and take her blood out. Now, mind you, I was around 10, 11 years old. I would see her grab little bag things from the cabinet and squirt it in there and put it in the freezer. Well, my mom caught that situation one night. She's asking, what's her blood in a sandwich bag doing on the freezer? And Donna just flew off the handle. And usually when people, I mean, they instantaneously, boom, they're busted. What she was doing, taking blood out of her arm, putting it, freezing it, she'd thaw it out, put it back in the syringe and shoot it in her. She said she come down and told my mom, she goes, it felt like I was getting a heroin rush. My egg donor prostituted. She got my half sisters, especially Diane, got her and pimped her with Big Al from Houston, Texas, that owned a taxi service. This is stuff that I don't want to talk about, but I'm sharing some stuff with you. There's been something in that family that is despicable to me. But if you want me to be very upfront with you on stuff that I don't need to tell you, I'm going to tell you. But this has nothing to do with me. My half sister Diane, my half brother Ricky. No, I'm talking about a different situation with other brothers and sisters. Diane and Ricky. I want you to think about it. Let me put it this way. There was a kid I used to hang around because I thought he was pretty cool, even though he looked a little off. He almost looked like he had somebody that had Down syndrome, but he didn't. It just was an offness about him. And I asked my mom one day, and I'm like, Mom, why does Jason look a little? He just looks different. I don't know. It was probably 3 years after that. I kept bringing it up because the older he got, the more it developed. And my dad was like, son, this is going to be downright disgraceful. You just sit down. He called my mom in there. And he goes, we're going to have to just break out the news about Jason. So I'm sitting down and I'm not thinking anything bad's going to happen or anything. But my mom got in there and she goes, Diane, your half sister, and Ricky, your half brother, you know them. Yeah. They had sex. Jason was born out of incest. I'm telling you something that I didn't even need to tell you. That family that I got adopted from was the best thing that ever happened in my life. And to put up with the bullshit after growing up as a kid, and even now, that is one reason why I throw up my hands and I do what my Lord and Savior did. Did he fight against anything? No. They got persecuted to the fullest extent of humanity. He took it like a God and he carried on. That's my inspiration. That's my life theme. If someone's going to bash me, talk about me, I don't care as long as it doesn't harm my son or my loved ones, because I know who I am and I know who I'm not. That's my whole theme about me. And that's why I hardly don't fight anymore about anything. Arguing, you won't even see me argue over the smallest things. I will turn and I'll lean up against something. That's what I usually do. And I cross my arms and I try to talk as calm as I can, which in a relationship, that was the worst thing to do in one of my relationships, because that just teeter off because I wouldn't argue. But I don't know if it's because I'm damaged. I can't, I don't know. I can't give you whatever it is, it's not a bad thing for me, because I live my life and I carry my life the way that I want to, and the most peace of mind that I possibly can. I don't like confrontation. If somebody wants to give me credit for something, I like it. It makes me feel good. I got people all the time coming to tell me, you need to start, do this for yourself. Take credit for yourself. Why? Why do I have to take credit? That's not what I'm designed to do. There's only one being ever that takes credit. I told you I'm a spiritual being. Some people can't comprehend that. I live by my spirituality. I don't sit there and use it as a front like a lot of religious people. I go by what I truly believe in and what I feel and what I do every single day of my life. And if I'm going to be persecuted for something, I don't care. I don't care. I do not care. And that's with a healthy spirit. That's in it through healthy spirit without any frustration, because I've been, I guess, damaged throughout most of my life in different situations. I love my mom and dad. I struggle with it about every other day, and it's been years. And I feel so good when I go to that cemetery and lay on my stomach on that ground. I feel more confident. I feel more like a human being. I feel more understood. And this is going to sound grim when I say this. I feel so much more understood talking to dead people. That's a pretty bold statement, and that's a true statement, because you probably experienced it probably quite a bit in your life, through neglect, disrespect. People think you're not worth anything, making you feel inferior. And I come to the conclusion and to the point in my life years ago, I don't care. I really don't care. I love me. I love myself. I know what my so-called faith is, and I live by it to the best of my abilities. And my number one is about 55 minutes from here in college. He holds me up on a pedestal because he believes in me and he knows what I am and knows what I'm not. And he knows what he's seen me go through. So I don't feel obligated to prove to anybody, especially when they got an attitude or they're trying to hurt me in some sort of sense or defecate me. I feel like then I don't need to prove it. Now, if you're going to come to me nicely with respect and all that, I'll talk about it. But through the internet source, the internet world, you know how that is. I will never, ever step foot. Well, not step foot. I'm never, ever going to be a part of the internet platforms ever again. Now, Facebook, it wouldn't because of that. Facebook, I just got tired of it, and I didn't have much family. Whoever likes Facebook, I think it's a cool thing if you got family spread around. You see your niece or nephews growing, you post them on there, or whatever. But me, there was nothing for me. It was just turmoil. People beating me down because I'm not religious, getting on my case because I didn't like a certain picture that said hit like and describe what you want prayed for, whatever, and you have this money when you wake up in the morning type of stuff. I didn't participate in that, and then it's just like arguments over the internet. I call them keyboard warriors, and my messenger going off late at night with women I haven't even seen before in my life that I was friends with that I knew personally, hitting me up in the middle of the night. Oh, you're friends of my friend. That's cool. Well, I'm such and such. You want to do this? You want to do that? And to be honest, it felt like I was trying to get set up. And why do I feel that way? I wonder why. It's a wonder that I still have faith in women. Be honest with you. But I keep an open mind. I keep my spirit high. And I know for a fact, deep down, all women are not like that. But where are they at? You know, same for guys. So I might be, if I'm jaded to the fact of what I just explained to you, which doesn't interfere with everyday human life. It's my preference. It's the way that I feel about certain things. So, I mean, hopefully that's good enough. And if it's not, I'm sorry. But I'm not that kind of person. Tito, Tito, Tito. What's wrong? Come here. What's wrong? Come here. Come on. I think my dog's slowly dying. No. Tito. Tito, come here. Come on. Yeah, come here. What's wrong? Come here. He's a boy. He's not doing too well. Yeah. There's blood and stuff too on my duvet. Blood. That's my duvet. He sleeps with me, and I'm gonna have to go clean it and all that later. I just got it outside where it's airing out. It is what it is. There's nothing I can do about it. That's hard for people. That's probably hard for a handful of people to understand. But it is what it is. As long as my son's not involved or any of my loved ones, it is what it is. It's almost to a point that I've come to a surrender, and it's to deal with all types of situations I've been through. It's just whatever. No, I don't. I never give up. So I'm sorry if I'm putting out the impression that's the case, because that's not the case. I'm talking about the situation that has to deal with anything against me. What do you What do you mean? That'd be nice if you believe me, so we can move forward. But what I'm trying to say is, I'm not going to fall into the depths of hell like I always did in my past and sit there and cry my eyes out and be helpless over a situation that basically I cannot control. Okay. Okay. All right. Sounds like a plan. Yeah, I'll probably take him to the vet here in a little bit. Yeah. Mm-hmm. HHR. Kept it because it gets better gas mileage. Oh, okay. All right. Bye bye.